Hello everyone, warm greetings to all our listeners. Let's begin today's talk by exploring the root cause of the widespread presence of pornography in our modern world. Many people may not realize this, but the spread of pornography actually stems from self-indulgence, a form of losing control over one's own desires. Whether it's men or women, a life of indulgence leads to various illnesses over time. First, diabetes. Second, chronic back pain. Third, the risk of stroke. Why is that? Because when the kidney essence, known as thun kin in Eastern medicine, is depleted for too long, the body becomes like a pot of boiling water that's been left to burn dry. The kidney essence we possess was gifted by our parents. It's like a seed planted in us, helping us grow, take root, and flourish into who we are today. Human reproduction, the continuation of life itself, depends on this very essence. And therefore, the kidney essence must be preserved carefully. It should not be used recklessly. When should it be used? Only when we are creating life. Take nature as an example. After mating, the male fly dies almost instantly. The same is true for many species, such as spiders. They use the purest life energy within them to give birth to the next generation. Our parents also gave us life by drawing upon their most vital energy, their kidney essence. In traditional Chinese medicine, it is said that this essence contains jing, vital essence, qi, energy, and shen, spirit. Yet, modern science cannot detect or measure this substance because it exists beyond the limits of Western instruments and definitions. For example, a single drop of semen from a man is said to hold the nutritional value equivalent to 3 eggs. But 3 eggs cannot create a human life, while 1 drop of semen can. Why is that? Because nature has infused human beings with a special life energy, stored deep within the kidney essence. Just as a single seed can grow into a tree, this essence carries not just nutrients, but the code and power of life itself. In today's scientific language, we might call it information or energy. Many people do not truly understand what life is. Western medicine, which has existed for only a few centuries, often fails to explain the mysteries of life and sometimes even contradicts them. Meanwhile, Eastern medicine, with a history of more than 5,000 years, has long revealed profound truths that our ancestors carefully passed down about how life energy works and how it must be respected. Now, let me be clear, I am not a conservative person. I live in the modern world, just like all of you. But sometimes, when I walk outside and see young women dressed in overly revealing clothes, I can't help but wonder, are those really meant to be worn in public? They are simply too provocative, too immodest. The ancient sages once said that the way women dress affects the spiritual atmosphere of society. When clothing becomes too revealing, it triggers impure thoughts in others. Women, by nature, represent the yin energy, soft, inward, and reserved. Men embody the yang, active, outward, and expansive. Therefore, yin should be protected, not exposed. Revealing too much skin not only harms one's own health, but also disrupts the balance of society. For instance, the neck is a major joint. When it's exposed to cold, illness can easily follow. The back and lower back are where the life meridian runs. And the navel, that small point on our belly, is the exact place where we were once connected to our mother, the sole channel through which life was nourished before birth. It is a powerful energy point and should never be left exposed. The same goes for the back of the neck, the dazhui acupoint, and the knees. In winter, many women wear thick coats but leave their knees uncovered. How can back pain and fatigue be avoided in such a way? When I see that, I honestly feel a deep sense of concern. Because what seems like fashion, in truth, is the slow erosion of vitality both for the body and for society as a whole. In classical Chinese, the character dam, didit, simply mean sexual immorality. It meant excess. Just like how the phrase dam vu, fifai, describes endless rainfall, something that continues far beyond what is natural or healthy. In the theory of traditional Eastern medicine, excessive sexual indulgence damages the 5 organs and 6 bowels, particularly the heart and kidneys, and eventually leads to the dispersion of spirit. When the human spirit is weakened from within, it becomes unstable and restless, day by day, just like a king who has lost direction in his own kingdom. When that happens, the kidney essence, which should be stored deep inside, can no longer be preserved. Even without physical ejaculation, the essence leaks out. In Eastern medicine, this state is known as hidden leakage, somehow even more dangerous than visible loss, Because it silently drains the body's vitality from within. Over time, this internal leakage leads to secret discharges, physical weakness, and long-term illness. If we look back in history, we can see that ancient kings rarely lived long lives. Among 192 emperors recorded, the average lifespan was only about 39 years. Why? Because indulgence in lust and pleasure inevitably depleted their life essence. We've all heard the old saying, beautiful women often meet unfortunate fates. But what does unfortunate fate really mean? It can mean that the body has suffered from excessive harm, such as repeated abortions, or that one's moral energy has been consumed by lustful and wrongful actions. Those who live in that way will inevitably face misfortune, for those who cannot remain faithful to others will never receive true faithfulness in return. When a woman stands before you with bright eyes, soft voice, and rosy cheeks that seem as delicate as peach blossoms, beware. In the old teachings, such women were called beauties that bring disaster. Why? Because they stir up desire in others. From a young age, such women are often praised for their beauty, and they grow up focusing only on their outer appearance. Their hearts become restless and vain, craving admiration and attention from others. This mental attachment to being admired shapes their aura, making their appearance alluring, their presence magnetic. Yet this very vibration born from impure thoughts attracts impure energies and corrupt people toward them. They shine, yes, but in a way that tempts and destroys. And that is why ancient wisdom warns us, beware of those who draw your spirit toward lust, for they may steal your essence, not metaphorically, but literally. There's an old poem describing beheading in the darkness. It doesn't refer to cutting off a human head, but rather to draining the kidney essence of men, the very marrow of their vitality. It is said that such women absorb the life force of men down to the bones. Modern experiments have shown that both male semen and female secretions share a biological similarity to the spinal marrow and brain matter. Their structures and components resemble those found in the posterior part of the brain. Traditional medicine expresses this idea as, essence creates marrow, marrow nourishes the brain. The brain, in this philosophy, is known as the sea of marrow. When kidney essence is depleted, not only does bone marrow shrink, the brain itself becomes hollow and weak. Our brains are filled with cerebral marrow, while the spinal cord connects directly to the kidneys. This means the sexual essence of both men and women is intimately linked to the marrow and brain. So, when one lives a life of indulgence and excessive sexual activity, what leaks out is not just fluid, but the marrow and brain energy itself. That's why people who overindulge often suffer from memory loss, poor concentration, and declining health. Next time you see a woman who looks breathtakingly beautiful, remember this ancient truth. Though she may look enchanting on the outside, she could be draining your bone marrow and brain energy on the inside. In Eastern tradition, there is also a concept called sexual rhythm, which connects directly to the health of the kidneys. For men, it is said, before the age of 30, intimacy should be limited to once a week. From 30 to 40, once every 2 weeks. From 40 to 50, once a month. From 50 to 60, only once every 2 or 3 months. And after 60, it's best to abstain completely. Why? Because the kidney essence must now be used to nourish the body, to sustain the internal organs, the bones, and the life energy in the second half of one's life. Some elderly people, even at the age of 60 or 70, still experience sudden waves of sexual desire. But that is merely a flicker of fading light, a final spark before the lamp goes out, a reflection of the last reserves of essence being consumed. If you can calm your heart and discipline your thoughts, cutting off excessive sexual activity and focusing on inner cultivation, then you will preserve your vital essence, your marrow, and your spirit. And that is the path to true health, long life, and peace of mind. If you can preserve your yang energy, your lifespan will naturally be extended. On the other hand, many people die without ever understanding why. Do you know that yang energy is the core life force of the human body? Without sufficient yang energy, the body easily falls into disorder. For men, abundant yang energy represents strength and masculinity. For women, balanced yang energy gives them radiance, vitality, and youthfulness. Yang energy is what drives metabolism, fuels physiological activity, and influences growth, aging, and even life and death itself. As an ancient saying goes, those who possess yang energy live, those who lose it die. The stronger the yang, the more vigorous the body becomes. When yang weakens, disease takes hold. When yang is exhausted, life ends. Yang energy also warms the body and protects the internal organs. If yang becomes deficient, organ function weakens, metabolism slows, and body temperature becomes unstable. The Yellow Emperor's Inner Canon, one of the oldest medical texts in the world, says, "At the age of 40, yang energy begins to decline. The body weakens day by day." This means that as we age, our yang naturally decreases. Therefore, maintaining yang energy is the key to staying healthy and living long. But what behaviors drain our yang the most? Let's look at a few common habits that quietly destroy this vital energy. 1. Sitting too long without movement. Yang energy is active and ascending by nature. It loves motion. When you sit still for too long, you suppress this upward flow. Many people think that resting quietly conserves energy. But in truth, stillness without movement blocks circulation. Blood flow slows, body warmth decreases, and yang energy stagnates. As a result, the body becomes weaker over time. For men in particular, prolonged sitting can lead to kidney yang deficiency and even prostate problems. So move your body regularly. Don't spend your days glued to a chair. 2. Exercising at the wrong time. Yang energy rises with the sun and retreats at night. Morning, when yang is growing, is the best time to train the body. At night, however, yang returns inward, it needs rest. If you exercise vigorously at night, you don't strengthen your health. You actually burn your yang. Many busy people can only go to the gym after work, sweating late into the night. At first it seems fine, but over the years, their health quietly declines. If you must exercise in the evening, choose gentle activities. Yoga, Tai Chi, or a slow walk, and finish before 9 p.m. 3. Staying up late and sleeping poorly. This is perhaps the most harmful habit for yang energy. The ancients said, "If you fail to rest at night, yang energy is depleted. If you rise too late in the morning, yang energy cannot grow. When you stay up late, you burn through your yang. And when you sleep in late, you miss the sunrise that helps replenish it." Together, this double loss weakens both body and spirit. Sleep is the sacred time for restoring yang energy. If you constantly stay up past midnight, your body never refills what it loses. Over time, you'll feel chronic fatigue, low mood, and even serious illness. 4. Excessive indulgence in sexual activity. A balanced, intimate life nourishes love and supports immunity. But when it becomes excessive, the opposite happens. Too much indulgence drains yang, weakens the kidneys, and leaves you exhausted, physically, mentally, and emotionally. For men, even frequent self-indulgence without moderation can severely damage yang energy, causing fatigue, depression, and anxiety. Remember, every act of passion draws from your deepest reserves of life force. Moderation preserves vitality, excess consumes it. 5. Eating too much cold, spicy, or sweet food. In modern times, Western eating habits have changed the way we treat our bodies. People love cold fruit, ice cream, and chilled drinks, especially in summer. But cold food is a silent killer of yang energy. In hot weather, the body's yang is already expanding outward. The stomach and intestines become more sensitive. When we pour cold food inside, we shock the digestive system and weaken the spleen and stomach, the very roots of our energy production. Instead of cooling the body, cold food actually traps coldness inside. This leads to poor digestion, fatigue, and even weight loss or weakness. In summer, the wise choice is light, warm meals, not ice and sugar. Likewise, excessive sweets, fried foods, and strong spices create phlegm and dampness. These are yin obstructions that block the free flow of yang. Over time, yang stagnates and declines. So, what should we remember from all this? Yang energy is life itself, the inner sun that keeps the body warm, the spirit strong, and the organs alive. When yang flourishes, vitality rises. When yang fades, illness and decay follow. If you want to live long, stay healthy, and preserve your youth, learn to protect your yang. Move often, rise early, rest deeply, live moderately, and eat in harmony with nature. Because as long as your inner fire still burns bright, life will continue to glow from within. At first, one may feel energized and uplifted, but when the body's yang energy is consumed excessively over a long period of time, it gradually becomes depleted. During summer, improper use of air conditioning or electric fans can also cause serious harm. In the ancient Chinese medical classic Huangdi Neijing, the Yellow Emperor's Inner Canon, it is written, "When pathogenic wind finds an opportunity, illness will follow. One must always understand the right timing." The ancients placed great importance on protecting the body from wind invasion, because wind was considered the origin of 100 diseases. Among all the harmful forces in nature, cold is the greatest enemy of yang energy, the vital warmth and strength that sustains life. The great physician Zhang Zhongjing, in his treatise on cold damage disorders, emphasized the importance of avoiding exposure to cold winds. In winter, even when the wind is icy, our bodies are protected by warm clothing, pores are closed, making it difficult for cold energy to penetrate. But in summer, when yang energy spreads outward and the pores open, if one suddenly stands before a fan or enters an air-conditioned room, the cold easily invades. This artificial cold can damage the muscles, tendons, and internal organs, and in severe cases, lead to chronic illness. In fact, the harm from man-made cold air can be even greater than that from natural cold. Another major issue today is delayed childbirth and exposure to cold after giving birth. According to traditional Chinese medicine, the ideal age for women to have children is between 21 and 35, and for men, between 24 and 48. Nowadays, many people choose to have children later in life, yet they neglect to nourish their kidney energy before conception. As a result, even when pregnancy and childbirth succeed, the parent's essence and vitality are often insufficient. This leads to babies born with weak, innate yang energy, a deficiency that can affect them for life, leaving them physically fragile and hard to strengthen. Moreover, if a woman experiences cold exposure in the delivery or operating room, her yang energy can be severely damaged. That's why many modern newborns must rely on medication to survive. Their yang energy is weak, noticeably different from the naturally strong infants born in ancient times. Overwork also greatly harms yang energy. Modern life is fast-paced. People face constant competition, heavy workloads, and growing pressure. This creates endless anxiety and emotional exhaustion. In the inner canon of the Yellow Emperor, there's a phrase, "Yang energy is consumed by worry." When one worries excessively, yang energy disperses outward. If you fail to rest and restore yourself in time, your vital energy will decline. On one hand, prolonged exhaustion drains your life force. On the other, once yang energy becomes overly fatigued, it loses its ability to return to balance, causing insomnia, nervous weakness, and a downward spiral of physical and mental fatigue. In today's society, the central themes are development and consumption. These two constantly stimulate human desire. Desire is like a flame, it burns the vital fuel of life. The Huangdi Neijing warns us, when fire grows strong, it consumes the essence. Similarly, Laoji taught that we must learn to reduce desire, to be content with what we have, and not chase after luxury or rarity. By tempering our desires, we preserve yang energy and slow the depletion of life force. In the classic of questions on the true way of the ancient sages, it is written, "The wise are calm and have few desires. Their minds are peaceful and free from fear. Their actions are steady and unwearied. Their energy flows smoothly and harmoniously. To desire little and seek less, this is the path to long life and true health." Excessive indulgence, on the other hand, is what leads to the loss of vitality, the fading of the flame that keeps us alive. The nature of antibiotics, according to traditional Chinese medicine, is cold. When taken excessively, especially orally, they can directly harm the yang energy of the spleen and stomach, leading to symptoms like a cold stomach, loss of appetite, nausea, abdominal pain, and diarrhea. Intravenous antibiotics are even more harmful because they enter the bloodstream directly, weakening the yang energy of the heart and may cause problems like water retention or qi stagnation. Hormonal drugs, though they may bring fast relief, actually deplete kidney yang and cause long-term harm to the body. In addition, many chemical medicines, once the sugar or capsule coating is removed, are naturally bitter. In TCM theory, bitterness damages yang energy, especially that of the spleen and stomach. Therefore, prolonged use of Western medicine often leads to a condition known as spleen and stomach yang deficiency. Over the last 500 years, traditional Chinese medicine itself has also evolved. The warm disease theory gained great influence, contributing valuable insights, but it also led to the overuse of cooling and heat-clearing herbs. This, too, resulted in the widespread pattern of yang deficiency we see today. In reality, most external illnesses are caused by wind and cold. while only a small number are due to heat toxins that damage yin energy. Although heat-clearing medicines may work in the short term, long-term use inevitably weakens yang energy. For chronic illnesses, the main root cause is usually a lack of yang energy. Once we understand that many factors can deplete this vital force, we must also learn how to replenish it. Replenishing yang energy. One of the simplest and most effective methods is sunbathing. Sunlight not only helps the body absorb calcium, but also elevates mood and promotes the smooth circulation of qi and blood. This is especially beneficial for older adults. Spending just 1 to 2 hours in the sun each day can significantly improve vitality. During autumn and winter, you can expose different parts of the body at different times. In the morning, warm your feet. At noon, warm your head. In the afternoon, warm your bedding or rest under the sunlight. Sunlight is the most natural source of yang energy. Moxibustion therapy. Another powerful method is moxibustion, the ancient technique of burning dried mugwort near specific acupoints. Frequent moxibustion at points such as dazhui, guanyuan, and shenkui can greatly strengthen yang energy. Dazhui, located at the base of the neck, is where all yang meridians converge. Moxibustion here raises and restores overall vitality. Shenkui, the navel, lies on the ren meridian and is a key point for replenishing qi and yang. Guanyuan, in the lower abdomen, is considered essential for enhancing life force. The ancient doctors even said it could revive a person from near death. If moxibustion feels inconvenient, you can instead massage yongquan on the soles of the feet and laogong in the center of the palms. Each night, after soaking your feet in warm water, rub your palms and soles together until they both feel warm. This promotes the flow of energy and gently activates yang qi. The return of yang energy. 3 yangs, opening to prosperity. In the Book of Changes, I Ching, there is a hexagram called Tai, representing harmony and growth. From this comes the saying, 3 yangs open to prosperity, symbolizing the gradual return of yang energy. The ancients observed that after the winter solstice, though days were still short and nights long, sunlight began to increase. From that day forward, yang energy slowly revived. Just as nature transitions from winter to spring, from dormancy to renewal, so too does the human body's yang energy recover through movement. The famous ancient physician once said, "When the body moves, the bones are nourished, the blood flows freely, and disease cannot enter." In modern life, however, people think too much but move too little. We sit in offices, drive cars, come home to screens, and hardly move. This lack of movement causes qi stagnation and blocks the natural rise of yang energy, making the body more prone to illness. Therefore, to maintain good health, movement must come first. When the sun shines upon you, the cold within naturally dissolves. When yang energy flourishes, yin energy is balanced, and illness fades away. The way of goodness healing through virtue. In the classic of Supreme Truth and Response, Taishang Ganying Pian, the concept of goodness is simple, yet profound. It includes 3 aspects: kind words, kind vision, and kind actions. Kind words mean speaking with warmth and encouragement. For example, when a child does poorly on an exam and feels discouraged, a wise parent does not scold, but praises the effort, helping the child rebuild confidence. Words of kindness are like nourishment for the child's soul. Many successful people owe their positive outlook and resilience to the kind and uplifting words they received growing up. In the end, goodness, warmth, and moderation are the true medicines of life. When we cultivate virtue, speak gently, move our bodies, and live in harmony with nature, yang energy thrives within us, and health naturally follows. That is the wisdom our ancestors passed down, timeless guidance for the modern world. There's an old saying, "A kind word can warm 3 winters." Indeed, growing up in an environment where parents and loved ones acknowledge and appreciate us helps nourish confidence and inner peace. Kind words have the power to warm the heart and guide a person toward growth. They are like sunlight to the soul, gentle, healing, and full of life. Seeing with kindness, the vision of goodness. The next form of goodness lies in the way we see. We should learn to appreciate the beauty that surrounds us, the mountains, the rivers, the sky, and the trees. The wonders of nature have a healing power. They calm the mind and awaken yang energy within the body. For those who live in cities surrounded by concrete and noise, it's important to step into nature once in a while. To let your eyes rest upon green fields, moving water, and open skies. In those moments, you are not just relaxing, You are exchanging energy with heaven and earth, nourishing both your body and spirit. In daily life, try to look at the positive side of things. Don't fixate on negativity. Keep your mind light, joyful, and open, for this too is a form of kind vision. Acting with kindness, the power of good deeds. Finally, there is action, kind deeds in practice. Helping others doesn't always require great effort. Often, it's the small gestures that carry the most warmth. Imagine this. You see someone struggling to push a cart uphill. You lend a hand just for a moment. When they turn and say thank you, a quiet warmth fills your heart. That warmth is yang energy being born inside you. Acts of kindness not only benefit others, they replenish your own vitality and fill your heart with joy and abundance. Whether it's kind words, kind actions, or kind thoughts, each form of goodness purifies the mind and removes selfishness. When your heart is clear and open, your body naturally becomes healthier. Joy, the gateway to yang energy. The ancients often said, "A joyful heart nourishes yang energy." People who are full of joy tend to enjoy not only better health, but they can also transform their destiny. Even the smallest things, watching a funny movie, listening to your favorite song, or simply smiling, can uplift your spirit and allow yang energy to rise within you. When yang energy thrives, your body becomes strong, your mind bright, and life begins to flow more smoothly. So, if you wish to stay healthy and improve your fortune, keep your inner sun shining. Speak beautiful words. Admire beautiful things. And do beautiful deeds. This is the simplest and most powerful way to transform your destiny.